Welcome, everyone, to season 3, episode 7. Today, we had the opportunity to sit down with Neek, a producer based out of Philadelphia.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Hey, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate it.
it's awesome. As a way that we like to get started, kind of ease into the conversation, can you give us a little bit of a background on how you first got into music, whether it's producing, DJing? I know you do a little bit of both. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story, how you got started?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it goes all the way back to my childhood. I was born and raised in Philly, so obviously, like very, very diverse area and a lot of different cultures. I'm around a lot of different, just like people and things and events and all that kind of stuff. The elementary and middle school I actually went to was a performing arts school. So like right off the gate, like from kindergarten, like I was already thrown into like performing arts, and we would have, these spring musicals, winter musicals, and concerts throughout and all that stuff. So I think in third grade I picked up percussion. Um, well, that's a lie, actually. First, I tried playing the violin, and I hated it because I sucked. So I
Was
was like,
not
oh,
your thing.
yeah. So I was like, oh, I'll just beat on stuff, and you know, still works out. Yeah, so third grade started percussion, and that kind of stuck with me all the way throughout high school. I also went to a performing arts high school, Girard academic music program, where they like really intensely taught us music theory was like a part of our classes every single day. We had concert band, we had jazz band, marching band. So I was involved in all of that pretty much. And we were also forced to be in choir, even though I cannot sing to save my life. But yeah, music has always just been a really big part of my life, and definitely percussion all the way up until I would say the end of high school. And then I went to Rowan University and kind of stopped with the music a little bit.
Mhm.
Uh, and a year in the Rowan, though, obviously, going to different events and parties and stuff like that, I noticed that there were DJs everywhere. And I thought to myself, I love music. Percussion kind of goes hand in hand with DJing, with like beat matching and all that kind of stuff. So I bought a controller and I just started doing local parties around Rowan and like in the Jersey area. Sororities and fraternities started booking me for their formals and their events that they would have. And my summer going into senior year of college, I got offered to do a bar, and it was kind of like a last minute thing. It was a brew in Center City, and yeah, like the DJ last minute canceled something like that. And my friend that was working there at the time called me and he said, "Hey, this is your shot to like actually play in a real bar. Like, come do it." Uh, so I went and did it, and the staff liked me, and they kept having me back. Shout out Double Down Entertainment, Jason Weiss. And from there they kind of just kept giving me more and more gigs, and it's kind of just been a domino effect, and I've just been getting more and more opportunities over the years. And producing wise, like I said, I've always been into music, and I know as soon as I started DJing, I wanted to get into producing. And another shout out to my friend Jules, who also goes by Vision. He taught me everything I know about producing. He was on this, right?
I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
gonna
we
say
had him.
Our friend Jules P, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Goes by a
yes.
couple of different monikers.
Jules P, Vision, Julian, yeah. But he's taught me so much, and it's been really nice having him, kind of guide me in the production world of everything. And it's been really, really fun. And I'm just gonna stay consistent with it and see where it goes.
Yeah. That's super cool. I mean, I like how we've had this conversation with so many guests on the show about how they like started very, very young. I think it's crazy that you started like I've never heard of like an elementary middle school that was like a
yeah.
performing arts based school. I mean, definitely I've heard of it for high schools, which is super sick, but I guess getting started really early, like how do you think that that shaped where you went? I know you said that music's always been a big part of your life, but like how do you think that that shaped the type of music that you've landed in making?
Yeah, definitely. So I really, really love Pausa, and I don't know if you guys know his music, but like Dirty
Yeah, a
Cat
little bit. Hmm.
right now. Um, the way he utilizes like instruments, even though it's still house music, and kind of like combines electronic and real instruments is like really, really
Hmm.
amazing. And I just think I really like I'm attracted to that type of producing because of the upcoming that I've had. And around real instruments my entire life until maybe like later in high school when I started messing around on GarageBand. Um, but yeah, so I really do want to, as I grow and keep going, I want to start implementing more and more real instruments and real sounds that I encounter on the outside world, and then kind of incorporate that with the electronic music.
Mhm. I guess no violin for you at this point, right?
Violin.
No, we're not incorporating violin? Okay.
I'll use a synth for that, or I'll get a player. I'll record somebody
You're
else.
not playing it in your own.
Yeah, no, I will not be playing it. No,
Okay.
these strings will probably break off of it. Yeah.
I had we were talking about my nails before we started recording. I had a brief period of time. I too grew up like playing instruments. I did the choir thing as well in school. I did enjoy it. I don't know that I was like an incredible singer or anything like that, but I did that. I did piano for maybe 10 years. But then I wanted to try guitar. And I remember that being the struggle was that I had these long, long nails and they were like, you kind of can't play guitar with them like that. So I had to give up. But
Yeah, guitar's pretty hard too. I took that my senior year. I took a guitar class and I wasn't the best at it.
yeah. Did they
Yeah.
have you, I guess, in that experience of going through the schooling, did they expose you to a lot of different types of what you can do in music? Like, did you play different instruments and kind of see everything?
Yeah, so we had like piano class every single year. So I learned piano and like obviously music theory. And then we could kind of just choose our own thing. And you didn't have to play an instrument at the school. Like other people also just sang or they just wanted to act in the musicals and stuff like that, or they were just there. Um but yeah, so we didn't really have to play like every single instrument, but they were open to kind of teaching us like whatever we wanted, which is really. And we even had a like computer technology class, like where they would kind of teach us like GarageBand and stuff on the computer, and how to incorporate like what we're learning in music theory
Mhm.
into kind of like producing, which I never thought I would actually be using, but I am now. And sometimes stuff just comes back to me like from high school, and I'm like, oh yeah, wow, I actually learned about this. So it's funny.
It's like you're breaking out like the old notebooks of like, I
Yeah.
remember they taught me this like 10 years ago.
Right. Right.
Was that intentional? Like, were your parents like, did they have a big influence in sending you to a like music school as a kid, and then as you got older to a high school?
No, I kind of got lucky with like my neighborhood school.
Yeah.
Being that school, the elementary school, and I guess they're just like really they were just always into like performing arts. Um, so I feel like me being at the school kind of is what sparked my interest in music and like in the arts basically and just being around it. But yeah, no, not really my parents. My mom was a dancer for a while and then she got pregnant with me. So I kind of ended her dancing career. But yeah, so I feel like just like kind of coming up around it, at the school that I went to inspired me to get into it.
Very cool.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people, they're exposed to it very, very young. Um, I think Jules P was the same way. I think his dad was in the music business
Yeah.
very,
Yep.
very young age, going to events and doing the sound equipment and making sure that wherever the artist is playing, you'll be able to hear it. So he was exposed to it very young as well. Um, but if you could walk us through, I guess, your creative process, whether that's what Jules P has taught you or something you adopted yourself as you grew in your career in terms of producing, what that's like.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I feel like my creative process is pretty simple. Um, there's gonna be some days where you just don't really get anything done and
Yeah.
have that block and you know, um, but I feel like for me, I just want to be like comfortable, in a room by myself. And I don't really want to, when I come in with a plan, I feel like I don't get anything done. When I kind of just open the laptop up and I just get different sounds and put stuff together and mess around, that's when I actually create really, really cool things. So I would say it's just like kind of keeping an open mind and clearing my mind. And, if it's not working one day, then I'll close the laptop, take a break and like, let my mind reset.
Mhm.
Um, But yeah, I'm actually building a studio right now, which is like what I'm in right now. So kind of trying to make a really nice, comfortable space for me to, create music and like really, really get creative. So once that's done, I feel like I'm gonna have a nice space for that. But kind of just clearing my mind and seeing what happens. Yeah, like not a lot of thought behind it.
I think that's good. I think we had a couple people on the show already who can take the same approach that they are very relaxed in terms of like they let things come to them naturally,
Right.
and then a spark will hit. They'll either write in their notes and come back to it later,
Yeah.
or they'll jump on it immediately and then go as far as they can, and then come back to it whenever they feel inspiration again to like finish it out. Uh,
Right. Yeah. I will say one thing that really gets me going is if I like see a performance live or if I like watch like a set on YouTube or something like that. Um, wow, okay. Like I gotta go upstairs and start working like right now. Yeah. So that stuff definitely gets me going. Like gets the brain going.
I feel that.
That's
As
gonna lead me into my next question of like what kinds of things inspire your craft? Is it like going out and seeing someone? I know you said like Pasa as an artist, but like are there any other big names or things in life that you feel inspire you to work on your music?
That will 100% seeing people dance to music that I make, play it out is like the most just fulfilling feeling like in the world. I could be 1 second like working on something here, and then I have a gig in 20 minutes, and I go there, and I'm like, all right, let me test it out, see how it is, and they actually start dancing to it, and even like singing along to it eventually, and I'm like, okay, cool, like this,
This
this
one's
is
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, it's just kinda, like, keeps you coming back to it and going. Um, definitely, like I said, it could be a very repetitive process, and you don't know what's gonna work, and you don't know what's not gonna work. So, kinda just focusing on making something that is good to you, is, like, really important. And then, just put it out to the world, and some people are gonna like it, some people are probably gonna hate it. But, I think what matters is that I love it, and I can't focus too much on, like, what's popular right now or, or, like, I don't know, you can't focus on, like, other things really. Just as long as I love the music, then I feel like other people are gonna love it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that that's just coming back to we've talked to so many people that have like definitely echoed that sentiment of just staying true to your own vision rather than
Right.
like, trying to be in these rooms. And of course, I mean, if you're playing a bar scene, like you want to play music that people know and that people are going to
Yeah,
dance to, like you
100%.
know that they're going to enjoy and fits with the vibe, but not doing things just because I want people to love this, like staying
Exactly.
true to your
Yeah.
vision for it. Yeah.
yeah. So, with that being said, then what's your favorite place to play in Philly?
Cool.
Ooh, that's a tough question. You're putting him on the spot.
Because I think every room is going to be different.
Yeah.
There's going to
Every room
be
that's different.
different styles as well. So, like, you have places that is more hip hop, urban focused. There's places in the city that's more, I'll say, house. Then,
Yeah.
uh,
I will say I definitely have been gearing towards the places that, like, allow me to kind of, play my original music and, like, play house music and kinda stick to that vibe.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm really focusing on for producing, and that's where I really wanna grow in, so, obviously, I wanna be playing that music out. Um, but yeah, I recently just played at vinyl for the first time. That was an amazing time. I have 0 complaints about that. That was awesome. Uh, Played a lot of original music and, just played some of my, like, favorite, like, house songs that, you can't really play at other places because, other places, if say, like, a sports bar, say Brew. I won't be playing some of the stuff that I was playing at vinyl at Brew
Yeah.
because it's 2 different settings, and that's completely fine. And I do enjoy playing at different spots all over the city, and kinda, gearing into different genres of music. But definitely, I would say, like, vinyl and Noto, as of right now in Philly because, I could play my own original music and focus on, where I'm trying to get to.
They're the
Hopefully that
bigger, I guess, like houseier kind of venues at this point in the
yeah,
city.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
okay.
ones that, like, align more with, like, what I'm making,
Yeah. Okay.
really.
That makes
Well,
sense.
Still love all the other places. Keep booking.
We love them all. Yeah.
yeah, gotta keep the doors open.
Mhm.
The I think it was a big shift, I would say, in terms of like Philly transitioning to house music. I feel like the scene wasn't that popular. I'd say, especially before the pandemic. But I think after the pandemic, we start to see it grow a lot. I think I start to see a lot more artists host their own parties, play more at venues. I guess what got you would spark that initially sparked that curiosity to transition to house music, start making house music for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I always was like a big fan of obviously like Fisher and just like other EDM artists. I wouldn't say necessarily house, but like Tiesto and all those guys. In college, and I would play all of those songs, and people would go crazy to them in college. And then when I transitioned to start doing like local bars around Philly, kind of had to calm down a little bit on that stuff because I'm not playing festivals. I'm playing in a bar.
Yeah.
Uh, so I would say, but I honestly, I would say it's funny, yeah, like what you just said, maybe before the pandemic, like it wasn't popular at all. Now I could play some of those songs in bars and it's like sports bars. People are vibing to it and they love it and singing along to it. I would say really that just producers have kind of became like the rock stars. Back in the day, I don't know if you guys have heard, but like we're hearing Benny Blanco and
Yeah.
Timberland, and there's songs that we have no idea that they were even a part of, that they were a part of, and probably were the masterminds behind. And I feel like nowadays it's like the producers are actually the front men, and they're the ones getting on stage and playing the songs and getting the love from the crowd, which is really really cool. And it's kind of why I like am starting to love producing because I'm making the song and I'm getting to kind of get that
Notoriety.
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, kinda yeah, get that, um, same I don't know how to explain it really. Getting that satisfaction of, like, seeing it through, basically, by me actually being able to perform it.
Mhm. Yeah. That's a good lead into kind of the question I wanted to ask of you do both at this point. Like you've segued more into doing your own production as well as playing some of these rooms where you're doing your own mixes and DJ mixes. So do you like walk us through the difference between those from being the artist and producing and also have a favorite out of those two?
Mm.
Another tough question. It's like
Yeah,
asking you to choose your favorite kid, but
yeah. So I would say, like, when I'm going to just DJ a room, usually, typically, it's gonna be a 4-hour DJ set. Um, I kinda I went to performing arts school, and I'm from South Philly, so I love the oldies. I kinda mix in a little bit of everything, DJing-wise, so I kinda just have fun with it now that I have the actual, like, skills down and not too worried about, me messing stuff up, so kinda just, like, mixing in different genres with each other and getting really fun with that. Some days, that's really, really fun, but other days when I have, like, a big show at Noto or Vinyl or Atlantic City, um that's also really fun, and I'm kinda curating a set instead for those shows because it's only 45 minutes to, like, an hour set, and I'm incorporating my music, and that's kinda more, like, strategically planned, I would say, than going to, do a 4-hour set somewhere at a bar. Um, so they both have their pros and cons, but I would say, like, right now, I definitely love being, like, the artist more and getting on stage as Neek that, is gonna play his original music and, on the crowd saying, like, "Who is this guy?" And, like, "What is this song?" And they just Shazam the song, and my name comes up.
yeah.
Um, I feel like that's just, like, really, really cool, and that's the direction that, I'm really trying to focus on right now, with my music and just staying consistent with that.
I know you've had some releases recently, and you have
Yeah.
one upcoming. I saw on Instagram that you've started your promotion for a new track coming up soon. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah, yeah. Bring It just came out, about a month ago, and that was a really fun track to make. It's a sample from a Busta Rhymes song, which is a sample from a Daft Punk song.
Okay.
Yeah, the Busta Rhymes song "Touch It" kinda came on, and the female vocal in the background, yeah, the female vocal in the background, I heard that, and I was like, "Oh." I was like, "That would sounded really, really cool. I didn't even realize that was from a Daft Punk song until like after I made the song. But yeah, people reuse stuff all the time. So, you know, it's okay to do that, but as long as you make it into your own thing, I feel. But yeah, so I heard that song heard the rap song by Busta Rhymes, and I heard that female vocal in the background, and I was just like, I could make that into a house track, like 100%. So I did it, and I really, really like how the song came together. The horns in it are like really, really good, and I can't wait to play it. I know this weekend because I feel like it's made for a big room. Um, I did play it at vinyl too, but I just feel like Noto's even kind of bigger, and this is Steve Aoki's show, so it should be like really packed and really fun. I'm excited to hear it, you know, with that crowd and you know that sound system and in that booth. So that should be really fun. And then yeah, April 25th, I have this is gonna be released after that, but April 25th, Work for Me coming out. It's another track. It's very similar to the last track that I produced. I feel like I'm finally finding my own sound with house music. I feel like the first 2 years I've kind of just played around with like different styles and different, you know, different instruments, different kick drums, different stuff, just different genres. I tried like disco house out. I've done Latin house, but I really, really feel like I found my sound now. So that motivates me a lot to just like keep, going, you know, keep cranking them out. Um, but also making sure that I deliver quality tracks. You know, I want to be consistent, but I also want to make sure that they sound professional and that um, you know, I'm producing quality stuff.
Yeah. So for somebody who's listening that hasn't gotten to hear your stuff yet, what would you say, like how would you describe what Neek's like style is, your own sound that you've landed on?
Yeah, so I'm starting to love like the bouncy bass lines, and I just want people to dance to my songs and also be able to sing along to them. I mean, like you're if you listen to my music, you're gonna want to dance and you're gonna want to sing. That's what my goal is. Uh, and I also just want to. I feel like music is. I feel like I look at it different ways than other people look at it, which I guess could benefit me. But I feel like from start to finish, everything matters. It's not just like a catchy hook or a catchy drop. It's like a clap in the beginning or a vocal like in the very, very beginning to lead into the intro. Everything matters all the way to the end with the final white noise of like every little aspect matters. And like I don't try to focus on it too much because you can't be perfectionist or like you won't get anything done. But uh yeah, I just feel like from start to finish, I want to have the listener hooked and I want to, you know, whether they're sitting down or they're at the club or they're studying, they're running, I want them to feel like they want to dance and sing along to it.
Yeah. I like that feeling. That's
Me too. You must have like a million and one different variations on your computer of all of your tracks if you're so focused on like all of those different pieces.
Yeah, even like different volumes and stuff like that would be like, oh, if it's a clap down, then I let's go in my car and listen to it. I'm like, oh, actually, I have to put it back to how it was. So I run back in and then I,
Yeah. I run back in and then I run back out to my car and check it out
yeah,
again.
yeah. A lot of stuff is like volume stuff, and you want to listen to your tracks in like different mediums. Like I
yeah.
have a studio here now, so I'll listen to it in here, but then go listen in the car, go listen on the phone, the laptop, everything, and then I'll go play it out at a club and see how it sounds there too. But yeah, just like really focusing on just like getting all that down packed and getting that professional sound out of it.
How long would you say start to finish from the idea for a track to actual release? How long does that take you?
It really depends on the track because sometimes sometimes when I'm flowing, I could just sit here for 5 hours and like really get it mostly done. Besides, obviously, like getting it mastered and getting like final touches done. But yeah, some tracks, there's some projects that have been in my laptop for a year now that I haven't even finished yet. So I feel like it's kind of just when the ideas come to you and when you get that spark for that specific track is like when you could finish it. But I will say you always want to like set your release dates and stuff like that. And this is what Jules has taught me, at least like a month in advance. So you have time to promote for stuff and you have time for all the stores to receive everything. So that was definitely a good tip that he had for me, and kind of just not just releasing it and nobody knows about it, kind of just like rolling out my stuff strategic way, you know.
Yeah. How do you find the process of having to do the whole side of like socials and promo? Like we've had a lot of conversations about that on the show in general, and I feel like I don't even know how so many artists do it. It's a lot. Like, you want to invest all this time and energy into actually perfecting your craft and doing this thing that like drives you, makes you get out of bed every day, but then you gotta wake up and post content, or you have to promote a new track or promote, an event.
Yeah, yeah. We're also content creators. Yeah, it's definitely another job title we hold. Uh, well, in college, I actually like studied a little bit like marketing and public relations. It was more so for like the sports field, but obviously since I got into music, sports happen on the weekends too, so I couldn't do that. Um, but it was nice. I did learn some like marketing tactics and stuff that have definitely helped me out and helped some of my songs out from getting them out there and getting my name out there. I will say I'm still trying to get like over like of like, oh, is this video too corny to post, or like, like I have to get it past that phase. Um, you know, because it is like a real thing because you have to be able to like get out of your shell and kind of just like put stuff out there. It can be like a little intimidating at times, but that's really, really what helps you grow your brand. People they don't want to just see you posting flyers and stuff like that. They want to see you and they want to know who you are, what you're doing throughout your day and with your processes of producing music and all that. So definitely I am working on that and getting more personable on social media because I feel like that's just a huge aspect to it.
What's been the biggest challenge so far? I guess not necessarily focusing on the social aspect of it, but your journey as a DJ and producer. What's some things that you've been struggling with?
Yeah. I'm the biggest challenge definitely uh was kind of getting in the mindset that this is a job. Obviously it is a job and like you do have to get stuff done, but when you're in that mindset of oh, this is just job, I'm just gonna do this to make money,
Yeah.
I feel like all your creativeness and your love for it kind of just goes away. Uh, and I actually was doing it like full time for just DJing for a year. I was having like 4 to 5 gigs a week, and it was awesome. It was great, but it got to the point where I was kind of just taking anything that was thrown my way. And I also got into the insurance industry a little bit, which like helped me out, financially, which is nice. So now I could go back to just loving music and making things that I love and not kind of worried about just playing gigs. Now I'm worried about, growing my brand and kind of curating the gigs to support my music and then making it to support me at my gigs and kind of them go hand in hand with each other. But definitely, I would say, yeah, just getting in that mindset of, "Oh, like, this is just my job, and I'm just gonna do this so I could get paid." No, I wanna make music because I love music, and I wanna go out there and see people dance to it, and I wanna have a good time and enjoy doing it. So, I would say that was really difficult, but I'm getting back to just loving the music and focusing on that.
How would you say that you kind of made that shift from like, oh, this being a job, and maybe it like losing
Yeah,
the excitement of the creativity? Because I feel like I've heard people say that before about like having 9 to 5 jobs. It's like, oh, if you love a particular company,
Yeah.
like just personally, like don't start working for that company because then you're going to see it from the inside and like you're going to end up not liking it anymore. Like
right,
it kind of takes the joy and fun out of it, if you will. I feel like I've
right.
heard people say that before. How do you think that you were able to make that shift from like it being a job to like this is my creative passion and something that makes me me?
Yeah, for me, it was just getting, like, other sources of income and
Mhm.
that just not solely being my my main job, and, like, that really is just what, like, what helped me get back to just, like, loving the music and not have to kinda just, just focus on, like, am I getting paid this weekend? Like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
less of the reliance, I guess.
exactly. Now it's okay if I take a few weekends off and I just stay inside and work on music all night. Like, that's what I wanna do, sometimes. But I also still love getting out there and DJing and playing gigs, but I'm just not relying on it so heavily anymore. So now I could really have fun with it. Hopefully one day it becomes again where I could do this full time and I am just making music and producing music and traveling around the world playing it. Um, but we have to get to that point, and so until then, gotta do what you gotta do. But we're just gonna stay consistent with everything and just keep going.
Love that.
That's awesome.
I feel like we're kind of the same way, Katie and I. It's like we both have a full time job, and this is kind of our creative outlet, uh,
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
where we could kind of express what we really want to do. And
Mhm.
if it grows, it will grow, and we can do this full time.
Yeah. Same exact mindset.
Yeah.
100%.
The I was looking through your IG and did notice that you did start your own podcast
Yeah.
too, called Behind the Party.
Beyond the party.
Beyond
Yeah.
the Party, sorry. Uh,
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit more about the podcast itself and why you started it? Um,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We did take a little break from it, just because everybody that was a part of it kind of like went on different paths and schedules and stuff like that. So I haven't done it in probably like a year now.
mhm.
But yeah, we were consistently having episodes and we're having, nightlife people on, club owners and DJs and producers. And, that was back when I was DJing full time. So I had a lot of more free time like throughout my days.
Yeah,
And, me and my buddy were kind of like, hey, let's start a podcast. Like that'd be fun. That'd be cool. Great way to network. Definitely met a lot of that's how I met Jules actually. Like, and now like we're really, really close friends. Like it's insane to think about that. Um, but yeah, we paired up with a company out in New Jersey who does like a lot of gigs in Atlantic City and some throughout Philly too. Go Events, or also they go by Fame Hospitality. Shout out Frank. But he we brought the idea to him to start a podcast and he let us use their office and, equipment, and he was like really supportive behind the whole idea. And it was really awesome. We did episodes there. We even did episodes down at the pool after dark. And we're interviewing some of the DJs that were going to perform there later on. So that was really, really fun. And it's definitely something I'm going to revisit in the future. But it was just an awesome way to like network with people in the industry.
yeah,
I feel like just get my name out there like a little more. And also you know, you could probably tell from my long-winded answers, I don't mind talking to people and I like talking to people. Um, and my room is getting so red right now because it's getting darker. I'm just so,
I love it. I'm like, you set the mood lighting in the background for the podcast. It's perfect.
uh, but yeah, so the podcast was fun. It's definitely something I'm gonna revisit in the
that's
future.
awesome. Nah, it looked really, really well, and I love the fact that you are bringing people from the like industry itself
Yeah,
to give that behind the scene scoop. The one video I came across that like I started cracking up. I think you had a bartender on there, and he's like, "What's the one drink that people shouldn't order like after 10 p.m.?"
yeah,
Instantly said, "Espresso martinis."
yeah, yeah. That was Brad from Brew. Shout out Brad. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just started dying just because how long it takes to actually make the martini.
Right, right.
Yeah, this, I'll be annoyed as well too.
Yeah, yeah, that was funny. Yeah, we were really trying to like, be funny but be serious and kind of just hit on like every single aspect
Yeah.
of the industry, going beyond just a party of it. 'Cause,
Yeah,
yeah,
smart. The wanted to know what would be your like I made it moment, right? So is it the big room that everyone's listening to your music and dancing? Or is it meeting someone that you kind of idolize and look up to as for like inspiration? What is that like key moment that you like look forward to say like, oh damn, I did make
yeah. So there's been a few times where I already felt this moment, and like it's just like just small things.
it. Yeah.
When I played in Brew for the very first time, it was like the first bar DJ'd in, and I'm in Center City, Philadelphia, and I'm like, oh my god, wow, this is cool. Like this is awesome. And then I opened up for Sean Kingston at Roar
Whoa.
in
That's so
Philly.
dope.
Yeah.
Like I know, right? Like yeah,
Yeah.
just for our
My
age group.
childhood. I love Sean
Yeah,
Kingston.
right?
Um, there was, like, maybe 2,500 people there.
Oh my god.
And yeah, and when I was playing, like, they were just vibing with me, and I think I said something on the mic, people put their hands up, and I kinda just, like, paused for a second. I was like, "Whoa, like, this is really, really cool." Um, and, there was a few other times too when, just playing, like, at the pool after dark in Atlantic City, played at Lavo nightclub in New York City, and, that was opening up for Matoma, who's a huge producer. Um, and I feel like I'm gonna feel that too, like, opening up for Steve Aoki this weekend. Just kinda, slowly, um, opening up for bigger artists, and then eventually, hopefully, it's just, my show also. Um, but I feel like just seeing the crowd just react to my music and, like, what I'm playing, just every single time, it just makes me, like, get the chills, and it's awesome. It's a really, really good feeling. I wanna make people feel, like, nostalgic when I DJ. I want them to sing along. I want them to feel emotional about it, not just happy, not just upbeat vibes the entire time. I'll bring you down and then, like, play a song that you haven't heard in 15 years. Um, but yeah, kinda just I wanna hit the emotions because I'm feeling them up on stage, so I want the people to feel them too.
Damn, that'd be amazing. Who's uh who's an artist that you would love to like collab with?
Any artist at all?
Any artist.
Definitely Palza. I would love to collab with Palza, just,
Yeah,
like, kinda, like, learn his process and, like, the way he implements instruments and samples and stuff like that. That would be awesome. And then I'm really into, like, Matroda's music too right now.
yeah,
And, you know, feel like I'm trying to find a bridge between them too to, like, kinda, like, make my own sounds also.
yeah,
Just taking things from what was the analogy I was just gonna say? Taking, like, apples from different trees, fruits from different trees,
Yeah.
um, kind of blend them together basically.
of that. You mentioned playing, I guess, Jersey, then in New York as well. I guess out of those places, more you just been more tri-state, or have you played like I guess down south, that being like Florida or out west, all the way out to California?
Yeah, I had played in Fort Lauderdale too for, it was like a spring break event, when I think it was my senior year of college. Yeah. But mainly it's like New York City,
Yeah,
Boston, Atlantic City, and Philly, obviously, because I'm based out of Philly. But, I'm always open to, traveling to play and trying to get opportunities elsewhere and,
yeah,
growing the game throughout the country. Boston is definitely a really fun city to play, and I had an amazing time there. I can't wait to go back there. The nightlife community there was, like, really, really welcoming, which was awesome. From the moment, like, I stepped in the club, there was, like, 10 DJs waiting for me to introduce themselves, which was, like, so, so
Oh, that's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they have a really, really good community over there. Um, but yeah, so it's mainly tri-state. I've played in New York a bunch of times, Atlantic City a bunch of times, and Philly almost every weekend. And I played in Boston 3 times now, but eventually I'd love to be traveling outside of the country to be playing, and feel like that all just stems back to my music and just making music and being consistent with music. Um, you know, DJing's great and I love DJing, uh, but I feel like making my own original music is, like, what's really gonna help me take that next step that I wanna get to.
yeah. I love that. Uh, Stepping back from music,
Yeah.
what are you doing outside of making music or DJing?
Yeah, like I said, earlier, I'm also in the insurance industry, so focusing on building a career in that too. You don't wanna put all your eggs in one basket, obviously. Uh, but yeah, so, yeah, doing that, getting home, working on music and DJing, obviously, but I'm also really, really into sports. Wearing a Philly shirt right now.
Yeah.
Um, really into sports, all Philly sports, obviously, so usually if I'm not working on music, I'm either watching sports or trying to play sports too, working
Yeah,
out, getting in shape. It's all really important to me. I would say family is also just a huge, huge, huge thing in my life. Always has been. They've always been, supportive of me and always been like really, really close with them. It's probably like the South Philly Italian Greek thing.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, we still have Sunday dinners all the time and I go over and I have two younger sisters, so always spending time with them whenever I can. Um, but yeah, that's kind of it. Sports, family, and music.
Does your family ever make it out to your shows? And like, how do they feel about getting to see you like perform?
So I've DJ'd like a few family events and stuff like that, like
Mhm.
graduate parties and stuff, which like where they see me. They never actually been to a show.
Okay.
My mom actually just bought her ticket for this Saturday at Noto.
Oh,
Oh,
So I'm excited for that. I'm really excited. I love my mom. She could be a character though, so she's gonna purposely embarrass me a little bit, which is okay.
I was gonna
Um,
say, are you scared for her coming to your show? Is she gonna have like an embarrassing sign in the back?
yeah, she's gonna do something probably,
Yeah.
but that's okay. It's my mom, so I'll wear that on my sleeve. But yeah, so I'm excited for her to see me actually. Like, she has seen videos and like all of that stuff, but to actually see me in person, like at a big show like this it's gonna be awesome. Yeah.
damn, that's crazy. I don't know. I'll be nervous for sure if my
I don't. I feel
mom.
like when I get up there though, I kind of just forget everything else that's going on. Just
Yeah.
lock in, you know.
I
Yeah,
feel like that's
yeah.
something that I've heard from so many different, I guess, artists in general, but DJs in particular. I feel like I remember hearing John Summit speak about it in an interview recently where he was like, no, I'm very, like, not awkward, but like I'm very quiet outside in my life. But when I get on the stage, like that's where I'm most myself, like that's where I can be like the loudest, like most outgoing. Do you feel like that's how it is for you too?
Yeah, 100%. Like I have two left feet when it comes to dancing, and if we're in a club and I'll fist bump and stuff like that, but I can't
That's
really
so
dance.
Italian of you.
Yeah, yeah, it is
So
really.
South Philly Italian.
But I will say when I get on stage, I'm jumping around and I'm just doing my thing. I kind of just get lost in the music without even thinking about it, which is really nice. I tell people all the time, I don't have to drink, I don't have to, smoke or whatever other people may do, to kind of like get that feeling when I'm up there performing music and seeing the crowd react to me. That's just like a natural high that I love. I I wouldn't say I turned into a completely different person, but, like, when it comes to, like, moving around and jumping around and saying things on the microphone and I don't know, just kinda all takes over, and it's really, really cool. Sometimes it's even, like, if it's, like, a big show, like, I'll kinda, like, black out for a second, and then I get done, and I'm like, "Whoa, like, I just did."
What just happened?
Yeah. Not in a bad way, but
Yeah. But I mean, it has to be not like overwhelming, but just like it's such an exciting space to be in, to be out there. And especially, like you said, somebody's like Shazamming a track and you're like, that's my
yeah.
song. My name's on that.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
has to
exactly.
be surreal to you.
It is. It really is. And, as I continue just to stay consistent with it, like I feel like that feeling just gonna get better and better every single time. I get good reactions to my music and as I start playing bigger shows and working with bigger artists, it's just gonna get better and better.
Yeah. Are there any tracks specifically of yours that you feel like you play and like every single time you get a crazy response? Like, can you pinpoint any?
Yeah, definitely with the song I made with Jules, Revision, as his name is on the
Mhm.
track, and you feel it. It's a really good song. The vocals on it are just like really, 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 really good and powerful, I would say. And we have a really, really nice piano like in the background of it. Uh, that kind of like brings it all together on the drop. That song, I've never seen somebody not move to it, and also I've never seen somebody not start singing along to it because the lyrics are, like, really, really catchy, and the singer on it is just, you know, it's a sample that we got, but it's, like, beautiful. It really is.
I love that. The one, I guess the last question before we wrap up is a two-part question that we ask everyone that joins the show. Uh, First part being, what's the best advice you've ever received that you typically like to share with other people?
Mhm.
And second part of that is, what's the worst advice that you received that you typically tell people to stay away from?
That's a really good question.
It always
Uh,
trips people up, the second half of that.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay. Best advice. I would say one piece of advice, like this isn't even in the music industry, but my high school coach would always say this. He would say, "Why do things today when you could no, why do things today? Why do things tomorrow when
Turn
you could do
around.
it
We knew
tomorrow?"
where you were going.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, why do things tomorrow when you could do it today? Um, I feel like there's so many things that people want to do in life, and they're always like, "I'll get to that later," or "I'll do it tomorrow." Is like huge thing that people say all the time, and I've done it too myself. But I've really tried to get in a habit of like, if I want to do something, I'm gonna put my mind to it and just do it right now, get it done while while it's fresh in my head. Um, I feel like that was just like a really, really good piece of advice to kind of actually apply yourself to things. Um, People could say that they want to do all this stuff in their lives and accomplish things, but who's actually doing it? You know. So I really want to be the person that's doing it. So that was definitely a really good piece of advice that I received. Worst piece of advice. Um, Hmm. I can't remember what was specifically said to me, but this is like about producing. And just like talking to this was a friend of mine that's like said this to me, and they're like, you don't really think that's like going to go anywhere, do you? Like, you should probably focus on like just DJing, on a weekend, going like really well for you. And that came from a good place, but I feel like that was kind of saying like, don't take a risk, and you know
Yeah.
I'm okay with taking that risk of maybe like slowing down the DJing side of stuff to, enhance, my producing career. Um, so I would say basically like that advice was, don't be a risk taker and kind of be comfortable where you're at. And I think that's terrible advice, honestly. Still love you for if you who said it to me, but yeah, I'm gonna take that risk because I have a goal and I have a dream and I just like seeing like these producers and DJs perform at festivals and stuff. It inspires me so much. I'm like, I really, really want to get to that. Um, so making I keep going back to this, but making original music's gonna get me to that, and gonna focusing on that.
And I mean, how many people have made wildly successful careers doing exactly that? And it's just like you just got to keep pushing forward and putting more and more out until you get to that place
Hundred
where
percent.
you feel like you're exactly where you want to be. But I mean, hey, you have some amazing things under your belt already. Like I'm stoked about this Steve Aoki opener.
Yeah, like so.
Incredible.
Thank you. I really appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I mean, even if it doesn't work out in the future, at least I tried doing it, and at least I'm gonna love doing it and making music and making music that I love. So I feel like that's like really cool. It's not always about the end goal either. It's about kind of the journey along the way and just enjoying it.
And you can't really fail when you're doing something that you love, right? Like I feel like
Yeah,
people say that
that
a lot and that's the truth. Like if you're doing something that you're happy with and makes you happy at the end of the day, that is success.
yeah, you're absolutely right, 100%.
Yeah. Well, it's been incredible speaking with you and we can't wait to see all your continued success. So
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
of course, of course. And, we love to, let everybody on the show like shamelessly plug themselves. Please tell everybody who's listening at home like where they're able to find you, everything that you have coming up that they can be part of.
Yeah, on social media, you could find me at NeeksBeats pretty much everywhere. On Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and then I go by Neek on Spotify and Apple Music. You could find my songs and my music. Also on my Instagram bio, I have like a link tree that leads to all that stuff. So that might be easier to go. Give me a quick follow on Instagram and then get that stuff at NeeksBeats. Um, and coming up, obviously, this is gonna be released afterwards, but, uh, Work For Me is coming out, April 25th, so when you hear this, go to Spotify real quick and look up Neek Work For Me, and go give me a stream or 2, why not? Uh, I'm sure you're gonna like the song, I love the song myself, and, I think the vocals are really catchy, and it gets you moving, and that's my goal for all my music, so please, please, please check out my music, and if you like it, please support me, and if you hate it DM me and let me know what you hate about it, and I'll try. But yeah, so NeeksBeats, you can find me on socials, and just please listen to my music. That's all I ask. Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Neek, for a great conversation and to all your continued success. We're excited to be here to witness it.
Appreciate it, guys. Let's definitely talk soon. Stay in touch.
Of course.
100%.
All right. That's a wrap. Bye.